Welcome to Buyer's Market, presented by eBay. I'm your host, Darren Rovell from the Action Network. We have a great show tonight. We are talking the 1933 Gowdy set, the famed set. eBay today starting their classic card auction that has the 1933 Gowdy set up on the site for sale. There's 235 cards up there, 3 of the 4 Babe Ruths. There's 240 cards in the set. And we're going to talk with Leighton Sheldon of Just Collect and Vintage Breaks about what makes the 1933 Gowdy set so special. And then Jackie Robinson Day was, of course, Thursday, the 74th anniversary of his debut. We're going to talk to Jason Kuntz, who is probably the largest Jackie Robinson collector in the world by market value. He has so many Jackie Robinson 1948 Leaf rookies, I can't even count. So Jason Kuntz of Otia Sports. And tonight we are giving away the Topps Series 1 NFT collection. You'll be able to win. We're giving away 2 of these, a standard pack and a premium pack. This is launching on Tuesday, April 20th at 1 o'clock. You have to have a wax wallet. Again, these things are digital. There's 6 cards in the standard pack that are $5, and then the premium pack is $100. There are 45 cards in that, but Topps getting into the NFT game, and we will be talking about that and giving away a standard pack and a premium pack, 2 of those prizes. So make sure you retweet and get in the game. And now, without further ado, it's time to talk about the 1933 Gowdy set with Leighton Sheldon of Just Collect and Vintage Breaks. And joining us now to educate us on the 1933 Gowdy set is Leighton Sheldon of Just Collect and Vintage Breaks. Leighton, it's been talked about that the Gowdy set is in terms of how the greatest card sets of all time. You have the T206 set, the Honus Wagner set. You have the 1952 Topps, and then wedged in between, you have the 1933 Gowdy set, which most people have only seen if they've seen any card, the Babe Ruth. So tell me where the 1933 Gowdy set is on your list.
Sure. On my list, and thanks again for having me, Darren. On my list, it's number 2, and it's number 2 just behind the T206 set.
Why?
And the reason being is, first, I'm a baseball historian nerd at heart, and having the tobacco cards and having the likes of the Cobb and the myth, if you will, of the Honus Wagner.
Of Honus Wagner.
Really kind of gives me that set there. And then also, you can actually do the research on some of the newspaper articles of the time that there were kids hanging out as early as 1910 around these tobacco, shops, just praying that some adults would discard these cards they really didn't care, much about. And so the Gowdy set for me is number 2, primarily because of Babe Ruth. It was also the first ever major set of baseball cards issued with bubble gum. And what I also love about this set, similar to the T206
You know why
set,
that was, right? You know why that was, right?
No, I don't know.
Because in 1933, William Wrigley bought Gowdy.
See, I love that we talk about this kind of thing. We share our. I'm serious,
It was the first. He needed to promote his Wrigley gum, and
that was a great way to do it.
Why Gowdy had existed, but that's why in 1933 it came with gum.
Interesting that you mentioned that, because there was other Gowdy sets that also came with gum, like the Indians and a number of other sets as well.
Let's talk about the cards in the set, because this is going to be up on eBay. Now, there's a great story of the Nap Lajoie card.
Yes.
Why don't you tell that one for us?
Sure. So it's really interesting because collectors, and of course, at this point, it's just documented, right? There's not that many folks who were collecting in 33 that are still around today, but it's been documented that card number 106 was actually missing from the 1933 Gowdy set. So I believe this firmly. For whatever reason or another, it didn't have a card. And people, even as far back as 1933, meaning early collectors, they really coveted, like, I want my complete set. And so what happened was, it is exactly, Darren, it's amazing that you're talking almost 100 years ago, yet there was no price guide, there was no card show, but yet someone sitting in their home, and when I say someone, not just one person, several people wrote to the Gowdy company and said, hey, I don't get this. I've talked to, no one has card 106, like, what's the scoop? And so ultimately, what I've read and researched is that Gowdy kind of felt guilty / obligated to help these collectors complete their set. And so what's interesting, what I'm about to share, people don't really understand this, that the Nap Lajoie card is very much tied to Babe Ruth. And you'll see why in a second. So effectively, Gowdy didn't produce card number 106. They come out with a 1934 Gowdy issue of baseball cards. And so originally, when the set was produced, it was produced on sheets of 24. Thus, there was only 96 in the set, so 4 easy sheets. But what happened was, later in the production, they realized they wanted to come out with this Lajoie to complete the 1933 issue. So in a mind-boggling fashion—
A year later.
Exactly. A year later, in mind-boggling fashion, they designed the Nap Lajoie in the 1933 style, but they put it on the 34 sheet.
Get out of here. That's an amazing story. I actually didn't know that. And then I guess the other part of it is Nap Lajoie, if you're not a historian here, was an unreal player. Okay, so this is not like a common player. So
no, but he had been out of the game for quite some time, so it was an interesting choice.
Oh, by 30, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, no, he had been out of the game, so it's another kind of like what leads to this myth of, like, why him? Like, there was other great ball players that weren't included in the like. Why was Ty Cobb in the 33 Gowdy Sport King set, not in the 33 Gowdy set? Doesn't get reissued as the number 106 card when they decide that they're missing it, and they go with Lajoie. So, like, there's just so many interesting things that are lost.
Okay, so all right, so tell me about this is obviously, going to be on eBay. You've sold a ton of these. You've seen a lot of them. Where are the price ranges here for, say, the Ruth, the Lajoie, and who else are people looking at in this set?
Sure. So as far as I'm concerned, there's 3 main cards. There's the Lajoie, there's the 4 Babe Ruth cards, and then there's the 2 Lou Gehrig cards. Now, there's literally dozens of Hall of Famers, and many of them have more than one card. But if you're talking about, like, the top of the food chain, the pinnacle of the set, those are the 3. And then, interestingly,
by the way, wait, hold on. The main Babe Ruth card is the 53, is number 53.
It's the low number 53, the yellow background.
Okay, yeah. And that's the one that people have seen and are familiar with it.
Exactly.
So what do these cards go for?
Well, in low grade, meaning 1 or 2 on the Babe Ruths, they go to, let's say, $5,000 to $10,000 per card. Whereas only 12 or 15 months ago, you could have had a 1 of a Babe Ruth for a couple $1,000s. So it's really been amazing, during the last, let's say, 12 to 24 months, the appreciation. Forget about the high level, because a lot of people already know that, right? In anything, we were talking about this offline, Darren, the best of the best always goes up, right? But people don't know that the low grade Babe Ruths that you could have bought for $1,000 5 years ago, they're selling for $5,000 now.
Is the fact that people are not, so in the recent small downturn that's happened, you could argue that, okay, people have found out about this even if they were outside the card game, and once they found out about it, they were like, oh, I might have that in my house. Oh, I'm going to get it graded. Now grading at PSA shut down. Now that's one thing, but that there's not things that are not graded, or there's not many discoveries of the 33 Gowdy when you compare it to the 1986 Michael Jordan Fleer rookie. So does that make it a little less subject to the whims of the market?
Absolutely. It's a great point, Darren. For every, and I actually ironically just bought another 86 Fleer set today with an SGC graded 9 Jordan. The gentleman bought it back in 1987. And, we were joking about some of the dollars. And I said to him, maybe you want to wait. The Jordan was up like 3 months ago. And he said, Leighton, I got news for you. I've done pretty well on this set. And I said, good, because he bought it in 1987. But Darren, there's a really
$11.
Yeah, well, I talked to Jimmy earlier. So he's going to get me some more info and stuff. So anyway, kind of getting back to center in regards to the Jordan versus the roof. So you're absolutely right. What's happening is people are identifying, saying, wow, hey, Jordan is great, but it's just a lot easier to get a Jordan rookie than it is to get any Babe Ruth Gowdy. Forget about a high grade or a medium grade. There's just a lot less available. And the demand isn't going anywhere for Babe Ruth Gowdy cards. If anywhere, it's going up because of the influx of people coming into the industry.
Okay, so this eBay auction is going to have almost all the cards in the 1933 set. Give me a pick on someone like, I don't know, Bill Terry, or give me some surprises that either they are not as well recognized, but they are certainly Hall of Famers. That perhaps the card is more beautiful, that there's something wrong with the card. Give me something.
Absolutely. 2 cards come to mind, and they're both fascinating. The first one, of course, happens to be Mo Berg. And, there's multiple movies about him. Some of the facts you read out there, are true. Others are just, I think, urban legends at this point.
Just to fill it in, Mo Berg, the catcher, was a spy. That he was an actual CIA operative while also being a catcher. And yes, there's, oh God, I still miss that Nuremberg ticket I lost signed by Mo Berg. But
anyway, I'm sorry to bring up.
Realize you were going to hurt me there, Leighton.
Yeah.
So Mo Berg is an interesting one for sure. Is this his most famous card?
I would say it's one of his most famous cards and popular. And so once again, by example, like compared to the rest of the Hall of Famers from the set, the pricing actually doesn't make sense to people. But, you brought up a great point, Darren. Baseball cards and collectibles, it's not always about who was the best or who was a Hall of Famer, but the story really matters. And in Mo Berg's case, he wasn't a great ball player. His price isn't commensurate with how he did on the field, but yet because he's literally known around the world, his card is desirable, almost like the price of a Baseball Hall of Famer from that set. Another card I wanted to point out, it just happens to be a personal favorite of mine, Charles Garringer of the Tigers. He's a Hall of Famer, but he literally has one of the prettiest cards in the set. It's a pink background, and it's, I think, one of the higher numbers, but it is one of the one of the nicer cards in the set. And I just thought those were 2 cards that come to mind since you asked.
Always prepared. So the 1933 Gowdy set, are you still buying this type of stuff? And are you more willing to buy this than something a little bit more modern when you see it?
Well, one, I'm absolutely buying this. And as you know, we're trying to talk with your referral from the other coast, right? The family still has that collection.
Oh yeah, I forgot. That guy had, the guy sent me like pictures of binders. What was the first thing I said to you, Leighton?
I don't think it was real.
I'm like, this is not real. I'm like, this is not real. I had a book of, fake cards that I got in a bookstore where you cut it out, and I looked at those cards and I was like, no, that can't be. That can't be. So were those 33 Gowdies too?
Yeah, he literally had 150, 200 of them. A near complete set. He does have a Babe Ruth yellow, a bunch of other cards. The family's still deciding kind of what they're going to do. But then number 2, you're absolutely right, Darren. Not only am I actively buying them, but in terms of like a percentage that I offer people. So let's say I'll give people a range of 70 to 80% of what I would pay on retail for cards like that. You bet your bottom dollar I'll be at the higher end of the range for Gowdies.
Right.
Like I immediately go there because, we want them. There's not enough of them that we can get in, buying them.
Well, I will say with like the big league cards and the way they have the borders and the way the players are on there, I mean, there is no argument that the 1933 Gowdy set is one of the most beautiful sets that exist. You look at it, and when you see it in person, you're like, it really does take your breath away. Has the fact that you've seen so many of them taken away that feeling over time?
No, none whatsoever. In fact, because I don't know how much time we have left, I found a handful in my home as I just got home from the office a little bit ago. And if it's cool with your gang, great, we'll give it away. And if not, we'll just show it off. But I figured, why not, show off a 33 Gowdy Hall of Famer, as well as spread some hobby love. So I have a 1933 Gowdy Carl Hubbell, former New York Giant, one of the higher number cards in the set, and he is a Hall of Famer. And be happy to give that away courtesy
Oh,
of the Action Network.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
just
Courtesy of you. That's pretty cool. I'd love a Carl Hubbell.
absolutely.
Not like I'm going to win that, but I like that. That's really cool. And most of these is the original art somewhere here? What do we know about that?
So great question. I didn't have enough time to research. My guess is that
They're paintings. They
it's
were
been sold in
paintings?
the hobby, and I guarantee you that it doesn't come up for sale often because people who own that know how special and unique it is.
Right.
But some of the things I have seen, like off the beaten path in 33 Gowdy in recent years, are those progressive proof cards, meaning cards that came out, let's say, from a sheet that wasn't finished in the printing process. And then all of a sudden, like, back in the day, no one cared about the Babe Ruth, but now it's a proof and it brings, big money. And so, listen, I'm not suggesting they're not good or bad. They're just the beauty's in the eye of the beholder when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Leighton Sheldon of Just Collect and Vintage Breaks. Thanks for the Carl Hubbell, and thanks for the explanation on what makes the 1933 Gowdy set as great as it is.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Leighton Sheldon. You look at that 1933 Gowdy set and you just see it, and it is amazing, and it never gets old, as we said. Once again, we are giving away 4 packs, so 2 packs each of the Series 1 NFT collection from Topps, which launches Tuesday. You need to have a wax wallet. Make sure you retweet our tweet and follow the Action Network, and we will be announcing a winner at the end of the show. Thursday was Jackie Robinson Day, and I had to call up Jason Kuntz because he has gone all in. And why not? Jackie Robinson has his day every April 15th and has done so much for this world, his contributions beyond the baseball diamond. So I decided to sit down with Jason Kuntz of Otia Sports to talk about investing in Jackie Robinson. Jason, we are talking Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson Day was on Thursday, and every year it comes around, and I'm not trying to create more competition for us, believe me, but every year it comes around, and I'm like, I don't get it. Now I know that we had the big run up in the Bond bread really for the first time ever, certainly his 1948 Leaf cards. But is there an argument to be made that Jackie's still undervalued?
I think so. I mean, you're talking to one of the biggest, Jackie Robinson supporter, industry cards at memorabilia autographs there is. I mean, like you said, they dedicated a day to this guy. I look at Jackie like this. They're teaching this guy in school. Even if you don't care about sports, you know who Jackie Robinson is. He's in a category, really, for baseball. There's 2 guys for me. It's Babe Ruth and Jackie Robinson. And then there's a whole nother tier of guys. So yeah, like you mentioned, the Bond bread. Unfortunately, like that's like, I guess, is true rookie, because I think it's 47.
It is.
And then so I'm kind of, I guess I'm mad at myself for not buying those. Like, I mean, but I just had a feeling about the Leaf. Like, for me, it was the Leaf. I thought that was his true rookie. The 52 Topps is an amazing card. The 53, I mean, they're all beautiful cards. But for me, I brought some with me, to say, but like, the Leaf just looks,
it's
like,
amazing.
It's an amazing card. So.
And you went heavy. Can you buy enough of them?
I bought a lot of Jackie. I would say Not different amounts of Jackie, but as far as like value goes, I probably have the biggest Jackie collection in the world.
Amazing.
I have a lot of Leafs. My best Leaf, I brought it just to show you, but
wow, what is that? A 9? Get out of here.
Yeah, so I have a 9 of that. So, I mean, and when it comes to, I know we're talking about Jackie, but just collecting in general, a lot of people want me to help them build the collections. And I try to start every collection around 3 cards, 86 Jordan, a 79 Gretzky, and a Jackie. So like, if you've asked me to help you build your collection, like it's literally going to start, it's going to look like that. Like that's the foundation. And that's just what I believe in, because that's what I do myself.
Right.
But yeah, going back to your question with like, no, I can't own enough of them, but I did sell one last month, just to buy other stuff, video games, to be precise, because I'm a degenerate in that aspect too, and I'm having like major regret because I've bought 2 more since I sold the one like a month and a half ago. So but that that's how we are. We can't control ourselves, so we're addicts.
Jackie signatures, I am all over. I have that really great one. It seems to me like everything was in ballpoint pen, and it was like, there's stoppages. I mean, God, you pray, you're like, can I get a better one? There's a ton of just Jackies out there, and probably everyone in the 50s that just it's like a shame that some of these autographs aren't as good as they could be.
Yeah, unfortunately, like I have a couple checks, but I mean, you're more of an autograph guy. We're both major ticket guys, obviously. And like you said, I don't want to run ourselves up, but I think the tickets are still super undervalued. But yeah, I'm more cards and tickets. I don't have. I mean, I might have 3 autograph checks. What's I know you like crazy, not crazy, but like unique. What it's for. Yeah. Well, like, do you have any, like, what's your craziest Jackie, if it's a check or what, it written a letter?
I got a crazy Jackie. I actually unveiled it today, or I unveiled it Thursday, and I'll put it up here. It is a check that Jackie Robinson cut to Eleanor Palin, who was the woman who owned the house that Jackie lived in by Ebbets Field from 1947 to 49. It's a rent check for $90. It's $1,000 in today's money. And his signature is great, but that's just an unbelievable piece. The place where they lived on Tilden Avenue is on the national landmark of historic places. So that's probably the craziest Jackie that I have.
What's the date on that?
September 5th, 1948. So, and the plaque on it has, on the house has, he was there when he broke the color barrier, which is just pretty cool. I think anyone who has a day, Martin Luther King, Jackie Robinson, like even Kobe now, like Kobe has a Mamba Day, and the day before happens to be his birthday. Every year, we're celebrating Kobe for 48 hours. Who does that? Like, it seems like that's, one of these are the guaranteed guys. They're guaranteed that in the calendar, you're going to talk about them.
Speaking of Kobe really quick, it's funny because I was talking with someone like a week ago, and we were both naming our top 10. And to me, it's pretty like, Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, and however you want to mix those, and then maybe throw some Jabbar in. And this guy didn't have Kobe in his top 10. And I was like, I can't
talk to you.
I said, I can't talk to you anymore. Like, I can't have a realistic conversation with you about basketball if you don't have Kobe in your top 10, let alone your top 3. So
I mean, he must be like a Celtics fan who has a vendetta or something.
It was just weird. I was like, I can't have a serious conversation with somebody who had Kobe in their top 10.
By the way, we're gonna do a blowout Kobe show, maybe from the Hall of Fame. And obviously Jordan now introducing him.
Yeah, I saw that's cool.
Makes it even bigger. Do you have this ticket?
What is it?
Kobe versus Jordan first game?
No, I don't have that one. That's a cool ticket. I do have
now the second game is when they went mano a mano. This game was not competitive, but the fact that it was their first game, I liked that ticket.
Yeah, like you're really good at scooping up like the oddball like stuff, and it's funny because well, when we talk, like you tell me you picked up, and I'm like, oh, I want that. I didn't even think about it, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, will you sell it to me? And you're like, no. But yeah, I have a few Kobe tickets. They're all autographed, so all my Kobe tickets are autographed, which is pretty cool.
That's amazing.
First game, last game,
Back to Jackie.
There's so much more than just baseball with Jackie. That's what it's obviously the color barrier, but like, when you have somebody that's like you said, like a Martin Luther King Day, but that it's just hard to even put into words, right? Like he's at the top of everything. Like it's not even, like Mickey Mantle, but it's like, what did Mickey Mantle do outside of baseball besides go to the bar and get hammered, right? Like Jackie Robinson changed the game. So it's like, and yeah, I mean, like the guy's got his own day. So it's to me, it was a no-brainer investment. And I look for guys that off the field or off the court, like there's like a significant historic outside of the sport they're playing, and Jackie would be at the very top of that list.
When he sat down with Branch Rickey, and Branch Rickey told him he thought he was going to be a player for the new Negro League team in Brooklyn, the Brooklyn Brown Dodgers. So he didn't even know in August of 1946 that he was going to play with Montreal and then eventually come to Brooklyn. And Branch Rickey said, "Hey, I'm going to need you to be an African American who's not going to be tempted to fight back." But Jackie was fine with that. But Jackie, what he did, not only behind the scenes, but in front of the camera or whatever, like the way he helped people fight for civil rights at the time into the 50s, into the 60s. And he didn't take you're not going to fight back as you're going to lay down and be quiet. And I think that's really what made his contribution so great, because he was weaved into every part of African Americans gaining the prominence and beating and, essentially becoming, everyday citizens that they all deserve. And he's part of that story too. So
yeah, I mean, major part of that story. I mean, like I can't imagine the hell he was put through, and like, yeah, you can't even, yeah.
Can't even think about it. Jason Kuntz, Odia Sports. Thank you for talking Jackie. And I'm bringing you on in the next couple of weeks when we talk tickets. We'll put all disclosures on the screen about how much of the market we own. But
I mean, can I do a plug? If anybody has any lease for sale, please reach out.
Ho. Most plugs are if anyone wants to buy any Jackies. You didn't say, you're like, I just want more.
I want more. Yeah, I'm an addict. I want more. I don't want stock. I don't want real estate. I just want Jackie Robinson cards. So
amazing. I thought when you said, "Can I do a plug?" it would be like, if you guys are looking for a 9, or you're looking for what's been the rise on the card, by the way, on the
9,
on the 48 leaf in general. What percent rise have we seen? Obviously cards, but has it followed the trajectory of cards, or has it gone a little bit more?
So like a Jackie 7, I think I bought one 2 years ago for 20,000, and recently there was a couple sales for 250, 402. So somewhere between a 10 and 15x. Obviously, so there's been some weird stuff that's gone 50x in the last couple of years, but I mean, I think overall Jackie Leafs and even the tops look like they perform better than the Leafs, which is kind of, I guess, like this Topps rookie. But yeah, the Leafs, I would say, are about 10 times what they were a year or two ago. So I'm happy. I wish it was slower because I wanted to buy more, but I have a decent
amount. Want to buy more now?
Yeah, I mean, I treat cards the same way I treat stock. Like when I find something, a good company or a good card, like I just buy on the way up, and hopefully
you're alive better. You're alive better. I'm alive better too.
I am alive better. I am definitely alive. I like the action, but like honestly, like to me, I can't think of a better thing I'd rather either pass down to my kids or have as an investment 20 years from now to sell you know.
Because you think of it like I do. You're actually not, you're not buying it. You're basically just moving your money sideways into another vehicle. It's not like you're spending the money. And if you think of it that way.
Right. And like I said, the only reason I sold one a month and a half ago was to help with another addiction, which, you know, I'll show you. And
Oh no.
so,
That's a
you
sealed
know,
9.4.
yeah, Wada Mario. So, you know, and basically my wife was like, you're not going to go spend money on video games. So I was like, okay, well, obviously I got to, you know, sell something out of my business to pay for my video game
So
habit.
you interpreted that to mean you're not going to spend more of our collective money on video games, but you can spend it on video games if you make room for it.
Exactly.
But it was
Yeah,
really
so
just a shell game because you did that, you showed your wife, and then you went back and bought more Leafs.
exactly. Yeah, it was just on. It was
Sounds
all
like
on
we
pay.
have the
Yeah,
same tactics.
yeah. I had to show her that. See, look, babe, I sent it off for auction. Here you go. And then, you know,
Yeah.
quietly bought. So now you know, I end up having the cards back in the video game, and
Yeah.
she doesn't know.
My wife is, but my wife was, she's like, stop showing me what you netted, because I know that's not, because you're just going to spend that and more. I don't want to see what you netted anymore. So
Mhm. Yeah, I live broke. I live broke. Every time I get money from selling something, within 24 hours, it's back into another, you know, sports investment.
well, it makes me feel really good to bring you on because I do the same thing.
We're
Thanks.
equally sick.
Thanks for coming on with us.
Sounds good, brother. Be good.
Our thanks to Jason Kuntz for a fascinating conversation that went from Jackie Robinson to tickets to other things. It's always hard to pin him down because every time I talk with him, we have a lot to talk about. Okay, so Topps is launching their first sports card NFTs on Tuesday at 1 p.m. We are giving away 2 standard packs and 2 premium packs. And we have our 2 winners who retweeted the tweet and are following the Action Network. They are Turo26, Arturo Garcia Jr. from LA, and B Hurls 05, Bobby Hurling from Cincinnati, Ohio. We will get in touch with you. We will make sure we have your wax wallet address, and we will put those packs into your wallet. Well, it was a great show. Thanks to Leighton Sheldon for talking about the 1933 Gowdy. Don't forget, if you're interested in the 1933 Gowdy, there are 245 of 250 cards in that set up on eBay for auction. Thanks to Jason Kuntz for talking Jackie Robinson. And thanks to you for watching. For Christina Ventura and Evan Abrams, I'm Darren Rovell. Good night.